This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Carol. Carol talks for a living, from morning till night. So she relies on Flo's crystal clear home phone service brought to her through Flo's 100% fiber to the home network. It keeps her in the know, and because she bundles her mobile broadband and TV services, she enjoys huge savings, so she can enjoy much more for much less. So visit any Flo retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
It's Wednesday, April the 20th, 2016, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. In our top story, the island's Director of Public Prosecutions, Charles Leacock, is suggesting that drug pushers must not only be jailed for narco trafficking, but they should also never be allowed to enjoy the fruits of their ill-gotten gains. As a result, new laws on civil forfeiture might soon be enacted to facilitate the seizure and confiscation of assets of those involved in the illicit drugs trade. At the same time, the DPP called for a more humane way to deal with what he called mere drug pushers, insisting that it did not always make sense to jail them. The local legal fraternity has hit back at Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite, arguing there was no need to rush a new Legal Professions Act. Brathwaite last week accused the lawyers of getting in the way of the speedy passage of the new legislation and put them on notice that with or without their cooperation, government will take a new Legal Professions Act to Parliament before the end of the year. In an address at a meeting of the Impact Justice Project here, the Attorney General complained at the time that he had had dialogue with 3 presidents of the Bar Association since his appointment in 2010. Yet the draft changes to the law were lying at the bar. However, in a strong response, President of the Barbados Bar Association, Tariq Khan, called on Brathwaite to recognize that the lawyers were the experts on how the changes would work and that the proposed reforms went to the very root of the legal profession and should not be rushed. Admitting that the association had requested a June 30th deadline by which to respond to the proposed changes, Khan said the grouping of lawyers were not rejecting the amendments, but were simply ensuring that the nuts and bolts were properly and carefully handled.
This is a major piece of legislation that tackles a number of areas. The areas include specialisms, the code of ethics, accountancy, how a person practices, the formation of professional companies. This piece of legislation, or these pieces of legislation, go to the root of the Legal Professions Act as it stands at the moment. And we need the time to canvass a membership of over 1,000 attorneys to provide a proper response, which is not about rejection, but about the nuts and bolts of the reforms that have been proposed and how the bar believes either that the reforms can be implemented or whether the reforms are sufficient, whether they're adequate, or whether they're properly focused to achieve the outcomes that we both desire.
It cost British American insurance company Barbados Limited $2 million a year in fees to the Judicial Manager since the failed company was placed under a court-supervised rescue plan over 5 years ago. At the same time, at the valuation date, the collapsed insurance firm owes $26.7 million in outstanding claims, including 150 death claims totaling $6.7 million. In its detailed final report, the Judicial Manager, KPMG, said its fees amounted to $13 million in respect of time charged by the Judicial Manager and its staff on a time-cost basis. This is half of the total spending since the insurance company was placed under judicial management on September 30th, 2010. During the period, BICO made over $30 million but spent more than $26 million, according to the report. The owners of privately run public service vehicles, PSVs, are optimistic that they will be back on Baxter's Road in a few days. The Alliance of Owners of Public Transport and the Association of Public Transport Operators met for 3.5 hours yesterday afternoon with a government-appointed committee comprising officials of the Royal Barbados Police Force, the Licensing Authority, the Transport Authority, and the Ministry of Transport and Works to discuss the vexing issue of a ban on the privately owned PSV's use of Baxter's Road as a way out of the city. The owners had complained that they were being placed at a disadvantage since government-owned buses were not subjected to the same sanction. They also want rescinded an order that bars them from picking up passengers at the bus stop on Tudor Street, the city. Spokesman for the owners, Ingrid King, told Barbados Today that recommendations had been made to the committee, which would be forwarded to the Ministry of Transport and Works, Michael Lashley. King also will not reveal details of the proposals until they have gone through the process, but she said the PSV owners were hopeful that Lashley would rescind the ban.
We're very, very pleased with the way it went, so we're extremely hopeful that we will have the resolution by the end of the week.
In sports now, FIFA President Gianni Infantino hopes the 2018 World Cup in Russia will be the first tournament where video referees help officials with game-changing decisions. In March, the International Football Association board said it would test technology over a 2-year period to help with goals, red cards, mistaken identities, and penalties. That was set to start no later than 2017-2018 season. But Infantino said testing will start now and will take 2 years.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Your first friend, your first love, your first teacher. Show your appreciation for the first lady in your life. Send a photo of you and your mother to We Love You Mom at barbadostoday.bb to be featured in our special Mother's Day photo album and for a chance to win some exciting prizes.
To Mom with love.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Turning now to news from the region, police in Guyana have intensified the investigations into the murder of an elderly couple who perished in a locked room of their house that was lit by bandits. We get the details in this report from Capital News.
An elderly couple of Good Hope East Bank Essequibo perished last night in a fire which was reportedly lit by bandits during a botched robbery. According to neighbors, the armed men invaded the couple's home after midnight, and in an attempt to escape the bandits' terror, the couple locked themselves into a tightly grilled room. The men were unable to gain access to the couple and subsequently started the fire, then escaped, leaving the couple trapped. The dead couple has been identified as 75-year-old Mohammed Munir and his wife, 69-year-old Bibi Jamila Munir. Neighbors said they attempted to assist the husband and wife who were heard screaming for help.
And finally, Donald Trump has won the Republican presidential primary in New York, while Hillary Clinton has triumphed in the Democratic race. Last night, Trump extended his lead over rivals Ted Cruz and John Kasich.
We don't have much of a race anymore. Based on what I'm seeing on television, Senator Cruz is just about mathematically eliminated. And we've won another state. As you know, we have won millions of more votes than Senator Cruz, millions and millions of more votes than Governor Kasich. We've won, and now, especially after tonight, close to 300 delegates more than Senator Cruz. We're really rocking.
Meanwhile, Democratic hopeful Clinton, a former senator from New York, defeated Senator Bernie Sanders. The wins now put the Clinton and Trump closer to securing their nominations. That's news and sports. However, you can join us again this afternoon for more. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into channel 99 on Flow TV and to Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.